Hello, and welcome to part 3 of A Fan Reads The Star Wars Vault. In this episode, The Dunes of Tatooine. Star Wars had a long and tough gestation in procuring the financial support of the studio. Along with a complete shooting script, an agreed-upon budget, and a reliable special effects department, and it had an equally rough time in production. Nothing came easy for George Lucas or his producer Larry Kurtz. For budgetary and practical reasons, the size and number of sound stages needed for one, the decision was made to film in England at Elstree Studios and Shepperton Studios, both of which are located outside of London. That choice also located the cast and crew a bit closer to North Africa, convenient since Tunisia would fill in for the desert wastelands of Tatooine. Even as Lucas and Kurtz were arranging the physical production, the former was working hard on a fourth and final draft of his screenplay. Starting around the first draft, Lucas was watching World War II movies so he could create a highlight reel. He could then use it to show his visual effects people how he wanted dogfights in space to look. He also began reading books on mythology such as Joseph Campbell's seminal The Hero with a Thousand Faces, and Carlos Castaneda's series of books about a mystical shaman, starting with The Teachings of Don Juan. The developing story already had aspects of mythology and mysticism. His readings helped Lucas strengthen those parts. Simultaneously, Lucas had to cast his movie, a process that took months of quick looks at hundreds of actors. Lucas sought advice from Fred Roos, who had cast American Graffiti. Lucas's friend Brian De Palma, who was looking at the same range of actors for his upcoming Carrie, also sat in on the first sessions. Although Lucas insisted he didn't want to use any graffiti actors, Roos thought that Harrison Ford had just the right combination of earnestness and cynicism for the Han Solo role and hired him as a carpenter, Ford's other trade, at the studio where the casting took place. As a favor, the actor Carpenter agreed to read lines, an incomplete script that shows lines and cues of a single performer only, for the other actors under consideration. It worked. I guess George saw Harrison in a different light, Roos said. It just clicked for him. Roos also saw in Carrie Fisher the strength and feistiness of Princess Leia. The 19-year-old daughter of celebrities Eddie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds had a small but memorable role in Shampoo. Mark Hamill, who had appeared in the soap opera General Hospital and the sitcom The Texas Wheelers, filled the role of the aw shucks farm boy about to be swept away on an amazing adventure. One major exception to casting relatively unknown leads was Sir Alec Guinness, who had admired American Graffiti enough to want to work with Lucas even though he had never been in or even liked science fiction films. "I simply trust the director," he told one newspaper interviewer. He also fancied playing a wise old wizard who mentored the hero. The Fox board of directors had still not approved a budget for Star Wars, even though Lucas had already spent nearly $500,000 of his own money getting Industrial Light and Magic off the ground, and he and Kurtz had hired major department heads and rented the studio. Finally, on December 13, 1975, a still skeptical Fox board went along with Alan Ladd's strong recommendation and approved a total budget of $7.5 million, even though Ladd and the movie makers were convinced they could never make it for that. The final budget ended up around $11 million. Principal photography started in Tunisia and was replete with desert storms that wrecked sets, malfunctioning robots, and an unhappy actor. Lucas told Guinness that his character was being killed off halfway through the movie to add drama. Lucas himself wasn't happy with what he shot in Tunisia, and things got worse back in England as the crew proved inflexible. Working to strict union rules, some department heads didn't get along with another, and the editor Lucas had hired wasn't working out and had to be let go. Then Guinness said he was quitting because of the script changes, until Lucas convinced him that his Obi-Wan Kenobi would now be an even more memorable role. The production was over schedule and over budget. ILM wasn't delivering its effects shots, and Fox was panicking. Finally, on July 16, 1976, some 84 days after it had begun, principal photography was completed in England, but the work was far from over. That's it for now. Thank you for watching A Fan Reads The Star Wars Vault.